Hey everyone, I'm back. Again. Yeah, so that whole plan from the last video didn't really work out. It might in future, but we'll see. I have other plans that I'll talk about later coming up. So, this piece is a birthday present actually for my friend Abby, which, if you're seeing this early on in its upload life, that is why it says, Abby, you're not allowed to look at this on the, I can't even think of the word for it. That's why it says that when you see the video. And also, quickly, I apologize in advance. This is going to be the one video that I'm going to allow myself to make inside jokes on because it applies to friends. So, if you're not cool with inside jokes, I'm sorry. So, basic idea behind the piece. Abby has mentioned on a couple of occasions that she wants to be a deer, so I decided to draw her as a deer. And the flowers, I told her to pick 3 flowers without any context, and she picked these ones. I can't remember what the little ones are. There's something related. I think they're somehow related to daffodils. There's some sort of narcissus. I think it starts with a J. And then, she said tulips and lilies for the other 2. So there's tulips at the bottom, a lily surrounded by whatever those other things are. I'm sorry. And yeah. And also, because it just came to mind, I apologize in advance. There are a couple of issues towards the end of the video, primarily with, like, just weird jumps, and there's one point where the shot's really blurry. I'm sorry. Part of it's me still getting used to my new camera. Part of it is that I decided I was going to try to do this in 1080p, and apparently my camera can only record 15 minutes of that at a time. So, I had like a million different clips to sort through, and I accidentally deleted some that I needed to keep because I didn't think that they were going to be actually any work. So, I apologize. But anyways, back to the piece. It's definitely one of the most intensive pieces I've done, which that's mostly just because there's a whole lot of detail on, like, Abby's body sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know, it's weird referring to a picture of your friend as a deer as your friend. But yeah, there's just a lot of detail there that I had to mess with, and the flowers were, like, they weren't super difficult flowers or anything, but they had, particularly like the lily, I don't remember what kind I used, but it had, like, specific markings that I really wanted to make sure I captured properly and such. And yeah. So this piece also had just a lot of, I guess new techniques, or not necessarily new, but techniques that I don't use very often. For example, masking fluid right here, which I decided to use for this one, which, if you don't know, it's this rubber kind of stuff that it's a liquid to start, obviously, and you put it over an area, and then you can paint over that, and it won't affect the area that you've put it over. And then you can just pull that stuff back off when you're ready to work on that area, and ta-da! It's got all these nice straight, or nice crisp lines is the word I was looking for. And most people apply it with like an old brush that they don't really care about. I decided instead to go with the method of a bamboo skewer, which I cut in half, and then each end has a different thickness on it, which I find that works out really nicely for my purposes. And in addition to that, when you see me get to the background in a little bit, I used salt on the background, which gives this like really cool effect. You'll see it in a little bit. It's I love using salt. I haven't done it since high school. Wow. because even though I didn't do much watercolor in high school, there was the occasional time where I'd be like, I want to use watercolor and I'm going to use salt. And so I'd try, and my watercolor wasn't very good back then. It's increased. That's not the word I was looking for. Improved a lot since then. That's the word I was going for. And then also a new point that I don't think I've used in any videos yet is that paint is new in terms of video type stuff. I got it for Christmas. It's a... how many half pans are in that? 24? No, 12. Wow, I know how numbers work. Okay, it's a 12 pan set of Sennelier professional watercolors, which they're so nice in comparison to the student grade stuff I used before. It was, like, as student grade goes, it was really bad student grade. So, like, around Christmas, I was like, alright, I need to upgrade my paint because this stuff is just really getting on my nerves, because I'd been watching a lot of things of, like, artists that I follow on different social media, and they were all using fancy artist grade watercolor, and mine just was not living up to those standards, and I was like, alright, I'm ready for this to not take a million layers to get something decent out of. And I definitely missed my plan to make an inside joke about salt. Well then. Well, to replace that, I'll give you a short little story that a friend said. I mentioned to a friend at one point that I was using salt in a piece, and their reply was, "You can use Overwatch players in art? Wow, I guess they really do have a use." Which I found that rather amusing. And then, for the record, that bit of masking fluid that I pulled off of like half of this thing is the longest string of masking fluid I've ever managed to pull off in one go, and it was so satisfying. Like, pulling off masking fluid is the one thing that I have yet to hear an artist who uses it say isn't satisfying. It is the most satisfying feeling in the world. Like, the only... yeah, second only to pulling the tape off of the edges of your watercolor pieces. That is the only thing that is better than that. It's so good. But I was really excited when I got that really long piece off. And then he just went off camera, unfortunate, but the little nose that you saw in the upper left corner, that is my little hedgehog stuffed animal Prickles, who he watches me whenever I paint. I like to have him around when I'm painting. That was another side note, completely unrelated to the art, but if you see him more, that would be why. So another point about upgrading from my old watercolors to these ones is that I have yet to find a brown that's like really up to my standards when it comes to the amount of pigment that comes out at once, but man, are these a lot easier to work with than the old ones, because it would take me probably about 4 layers to get a decent saturation of brown, and even then it was really rough. And these ones just, they look so much nicer. So much nicer. And it takes, like, I think I did maybe 3 layers on her body there, and it was just bam, no problem at all. It was fantastic. And then the tulips, you'll see in a second, they're, I again don't know what the kind of tulip is, but it's a white flower with, like, red streaks, and I was originally going to have it, like, set up in a way where, you'd have, on the one that I just painted, these really thick outlines on the edges and then the thin one in the middle, and then on the next one over it was going to be thick in the middle and thin on the edges to provide contrast, and then I made a mistake and that didn't work out, so I kept it with the way I just painted it. And then here's where all the choppiness comes in. Oh boy, I'm sorry. First off. Secondly, I'm gonna have a really hard time following my own video because I don't know when it chops out. So the lily had its own kind of interesting challenges, I suppose, because I didn't manage to get the like maroony color to blend in quite as well as I wanted to, and I don't know, it turned out nicely in the end, but I still feel like I could have done better, especially because I like plants and I like drawing plants. And then, yeah, it just cut out on me, so yeah. I apologize for all that interesting stuff towards the end, but thank you for watching anyways. Happy birthday, Abby, even though you aren't watching this yet, but you will be eventually as long as you follow my directions. But anyways, yes, thank you for watching. I would love it if you could do something like give me a like or even a subscribe. That would be great. And yeah, any comments would be cool too. So yeah, thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh wait. Are you waiting? I hope so. So, other side note I was going to mention, I've got plans, we'll say. I'm not going to go into super detail. It's going to be like, I'll go into detail when I bring up the plans later. But basically expect an influx of videos, and please, if I do not make an influx of videos, yell at me. I give you all full permission to yell at me, because this is something I really want to make sure I get done, and having people yell at me helps, honestly. So yes, that's that. Now I'm done. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.